Tomorrow is October 7th, a date now infamous for the tragedy it represents in Israel and across the Middle East. Elizabeth Palmer looks back on the grim anniversary and its aftermath.
A year ago, all the young people in these photographs were alive. They'd come here to a music festival, and they danced throughout the night, never dreaming that shortly after dawn, they'd be kidnapped or killed. On October 7th, 2023, Hamas terrorists shot their way out of Gaza through Israeli border posts, and then heavily armed, on foot and on motorcycles, they stormed the music festival. It was mayhem. Over 8 hours, the Hamas terrorists killed more than 360 people and kidnapped 40 more. Others launched a pitiless assault on kibbutzim, murdering and kidnapping children, even babies. Israel's response was immediate. It bombed Gaza and then sent in ground troops. The mission? To destroy Hamas and rescue the hostages. A year later, neither has been accomplished. In November, briefly, there was celebration. A 7-day ceasefire saw Palestinians who'd been jailed by Israel released, and Hamas let 105 hostages go. There was joy for their families, but it was a cruel blow for the families of hostages left behind. Yair Moses' father, now 80, is one of them.
So we just believe and feel that he's still alive and hoping that he gets some connection with his captor and they're treating him in a decent way.
What are your thoughts on your government's negotiations for the hostage release?
We feel they can do much, much more. They need to do much, much more.
97 hostages are presumed to still be in Gaza, along with 2 million Palestinians trapped in a sliver of land that remains under Israeli bombardment night and day. The target is Hamas. The collateral damage can be anyone else, no matter how small or innocent. All year, the world looked on in horror.
It's time for this war to end, for the day after to begin.
But the day after in Gaza looked exactly like the day before. And so has every day since. The Gaza Health Authority, run by Hamas, says more than 40,000 Palestinians have died. And Gaza lies in ruins. We're almost a year into this war now, and the prospect of a ceasefire still looks vanishingly remote. If and when we get there, there's going to be a massive rebuilding project. Look at the scale of the destruction, the cost and the difficulty, unimaginable. But the immediate difficulty is the politics.
We will win.
Night after night, thousands of Israelis vent their fury with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his ultra-right allies for, as they see it, pursuing victory instead of the hostages' release.
We say that our government are full of excuse my language, and they do nothing. Our Prime Minister is a liar.
They believe he's stalling on a deal with Hamas. Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar is in hiding. Last seen, according to Israeli intelligence, in a tunnel days after the massacre. He's stalling on a deal too, vowing to fight on. As for Gaza's civilians, it's too dangerous for them to criticize Hamas openly, but you can imagine what they can't say. For a year, the hostages have been Israel's national crisis and international cause. We know some of them will never come back. There is still hope for others. But on the eve of the anniversary, that hope is dwindling. Israel's government has led the country into a bigger, wider war, and a homecoming has never looked so remote.